I've eaten a lot of raccoon. Yes. The answer is yes. And I've eaten it hunting. I've actually had it served by my mom at the table away from hunting. And I have eaten raccoon. And yes, it's not uncommon at all. I'll tell you something that is one of my favorites is squirrel.
Squirrel.
And it's wonderful, and my mother could do a great job of it. And we all had our favorite pieces, and my dad and sister, I have one sibling, a sister, and they would fight over, not fight, but my mom and I, they were just, my sister and I as far as siblings, my mom and I wouldn't even ask for the brain in a squirrel.
Oh, man.
Oh.
And delicious, seriously.
Delicious.
My dad loves cow
my
brain.
sister always got it, or my dad.
The fight over the brain. Jerry.
What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and hiding behind Dumb and Dumber is the Funky Chicken. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Don't forget, BetUS. BetUS, use that promo code YouTube150. It is championship weekend, and it's not too late to join in. Use that promo code to get 150% matching on your first 3 deposits of up to $2,000, or if you do crypto, that bumps up to 200%. Bet responsibly, and you can probably do that because the Dallas Cowboys aren't playing. So I want to, this has been a crazy, crazy day. I'm serious. I love to be busy, but I'm not sure that I want to be this busy because literally, you got to have your head on a swivel. It's been so crazy that you can't help but miss stuff. This is, people say, well, Mark Holmes, he does like 15 videos a day. I literally could have done 15 videos today, and every single one of them would have been something different that happened with the Dallas Cowboys. That's how crazy it was. But I had I had to make some steak tacos and stuff. I had to do some cooking. I had to deal with, a leak and stuff at the house and do some repairs. I can't do this stuff all day, Jerry. But I want to take you back to the national treasure that is Pat McAfee. Because Pat McAfee, he's get that shit right. He holds no punches, and he lets you know what the real deal is. Pat, tell us about it.
All parties, any publicity.
Yeah.
I learned that from a report this morning that involved a lot of very successful people, one of them being Jerry Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Jerry Jones speaking about his Dallas Cowboys in an interview with Peter King is fantastic. To Jones, there's no such thing as bad coverage of the Cowboys.
No such thing.
Bad coverage makes the Cowboys human. And he is positive his fan base loves the human.
Do you love it?
Okay.
Do you love it?
Good to know. Yeah.
My fan base loves the human that makes us human, and the human that makes us human is the Cowboys and the way we operate. Let me tell you a story, Jones says. To Peter King, warming to this topic, a few years after I bought the team, I'm out in Los Angeles, La La Land, my hometown, having lunch with David Hill. You know David Hill? David Hill, one of Murdoch boys, Australia man.
Okay.
And Ed Gorin. Okay, Ed Gorin, not Australian, actually from Carolina, I do believe, but pretty important, big swinging peckers at Fox Sports. At that time, there were a lot of negative headlines about the Cowboys. Michael Irvin was in the headlines. People were saying the owner's an outlaw. And so that day I told him, listen, I'm going to fucking tighten up the lid on this franchise. We're going to get control of this team. And David Hill, Australian man, one of the heads of Fox Sports, he jumped up and he said,
No! Do not touch my boys. They're television gold. Don't even fucking think about it. The foibles, the soap opera, the issues, they create interest. Yet in the Senior Bowl, I can't see what's next, but free agency, the draft, training camp, we always got something going on. People follow us year in, year out, owner every year. Every now and then gets it in the paper. It just adds to the interest. All of it. People love the Cowboys.
Well, you're goddamn right, then. I'm going to force the Cowboys down everybody's throat forever. And that was the moment that the fucking Dallas Cowboys were on primetime television every single weekend. David Hill, Australian man, pretty high up, I believe, in the Murdoch world. Murdoch owns the Fox thing, and is also the person being represented basically in Succession.
Yes.
Which adds even more intrigue to the entire conversation. This might be Tom Wambsgans.
Yeah, it's going to be Wambsgans.
But David Hill told Jerry Jones, like, no. You need to have the eyes of a network or the eyes of a business whenever you're looking at the Cowboys, because they're chatted about in every single regard. There was actually a rule that we were told by one of the heads of TV.
This is crazy.
And I'm just going to say heads of TV because this is one of the people that just created modern sports television.
Yeah.
All right, here you go. You get your topics that you think are big on the day. Then go ahead and you hit LeBron James. Then you go ahead and hit the Cowboys. Then you go ahead and wrap it up with Tim Tebow. And then boom, we're back at the top with all the stories. And then guess who's back? Go ahead and hit LeBron James. Go ahead and hit the Cowboys. Tebow's got anything, fucking hit Tebow.
Yep.
And then bang, guess what? You're back at the top. The only average watch time or listen time is 12 minutes. You're able to get everybody. If you have a 2-hour show, guess what? You actually have 8 shows because you have 8 15-minute shows. You have a 3-hour show, you have 12 shows. Look at what you're doing. This is just basically what it is. You do this, the daily hot topics. By the way, if LeBron or the Cowboys or Tim Tebow are a part of the headlines of the
Unbelievable.
Oh, boy.
This is a good day.
Yeah.
This is a good day. The Cowboys basically became that in everybody's minds, and I think it all begins from this conversation with the TV executive where Jerry Jones is like, we need to actually let the bullshit out. If somebody doesn't like something I'm doing, fine, let them fucking talk about it. If they talk about it, guess who they're talking about? The human that is Dallas Cowboys. And guess what human they're going to see on prime time fucking 18 weeks out of 18 weeks, even on the bye, we're going to have our players getting interviewed during the primetime games. They're going to see the Dallas Cowboys. I think the way Jerry views his team is why it is so successful. He said he thinks he could fetch $10 billion for the Dallas Cowboys right now if he was to sell. Bought him, I think, for $100 million or something like that. If he was to sell it for $10 billion, I think it'd be an understatement, especially with undersell, especially with where the NFL is headed. If he put the Cowboys on the market right now, Elon just bought fucking Twitter for $46 billion.
Yeah.
Okay. Bezos wants to get into the game. And then there's numerous people that we have never heard of that get the most popular, the most famous, the most forced down everybody's throat team of the biggest league on earth. There would be an overpayment for that by far. Jerry knows it. Don't love that he's necessarily thinking about it because I think the league is much better with Jerry Jones in it. But the way he operates is fucking cold-blooded business.
I think Jerry kind of looks at the Cowboys. Not only does he want them to win and stuff like that, but he also kind of looks at them like soap. He kind of looks at them like the WWE. Like it's entertainment anywhere and everywhere, and everything is good. Any way that you could get eyes on your team is good. And maybe he doesn't trust Stephen Jones. Maybe that's why he wants to.
Well, Stephen Jones also told him not to show that entire draft card. So he's like, fuck.
I say it again, you've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok. This is what he does.
Well, if that doesn't sound exactly like where we are, where Jerry Jones always says, I like to stir some shit up. Stir some shit. Yeah, he likes to stir some shit up. But you know what I really love? I love the fact that we have all the lovely ladies in the place. We have Holly Pierce. What's up, Holly? Miss Hot Sauce. And I'm burning. What's up, Lola? Let's see. We got Alan Williams, Jeff Lee, Rubens in the house. Dirty Sanchez. Dirty. Alan Williams, Chris May. What's up, Chris? What you cooking tonight? Dwayne Sweeney, Derek Young, Antonio, man. At this point, hire Jeff Saturday. Oh, shit. Boy, that was a great hire, wasn't it? Jeff Lee, looking for some boobies. XYZ in the house. Let's see. And when the ladies get in, we will be rocking and rolling. This shit is crazy. From yesterday, me driving here, okay? I get here, and pretty much after the day before, seeing unbelievably that Brian Schottenheimer was the leader in the clubhouse. General Shadow, what's up, man? How you doing? Julian, what's going on? Hello from the Philippines. The Philippines? It must be morning there in the Philippines. What time is it in the Philippines right now? It's 9:10 here on the East Coast. Quentin Scott, what's up? How are you doing? Miguel, Jerry keeps building the house of losers. Charles Haley, I haven't stopped my day job with this team and office. Mark, what was Vietnam like? Abe, I didn't go to Vietnam. I tell you what, I'm old enough to remember the fall of Saigon. I remember seeing the planes coming in that would go to Dover, Delaware, and seeing the draped coffins they would show on the news coming off the plane with the soldiers and stuff on there. But I wasn't in Vietnam. I'm not quite that old. But be that as it may. So, Mark, this team is done for. There's no hope. You know, Jesse, I can say we got nowhere to go but up. Philadelphia. Let's see if Philadelphia is going to act up tonight or not, or whatever. Why do Cowboy fans get mad when they fail every year? This is what the Cowboy. Okay, you know what? Philadelphia, get ready for your damn championship Sunday and leave us the fuck alone.
Can't stand it anymore. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
Wrong one. Philadelphia.
Shut the fuck up. Shut all the way the fuck up until you reach the top of Shut Fuck Mountain, where there are no more fuck ups to shut.
I have actually come to the conclusion that the Joneses just aren't that bright. And that in school, Stephen Jones didn't do his homework. That it must have been Jerry Jones's money. They must have bought a building so Stephen Jones would get accepted and get a degree in chemical engineering. I'm sorry. Dumb and Dumber. Dumb and Dumber. Because here's where I realize this, because they don't seem to understand the basics. They don't understand the basics. And they believe that their shit is so good that it does not stink. That literally everybody wants to bow down and beg them to be there. You know when Jerry said after we lost the last game of the season, he said, I want people who want to be here. You know what? Mike, what if Mike, excuse me, Mr. Jones, what if Mike McCarthy wants to interview for jobs? Let him. I want people here who want to be here. Well, Jerry, guess what? Not too many people want to be here. Not too many people want to be here, Jerry. So let's go down the list of everything that's transpired in less than 2 weeks. I have literally aged. Blue Virus in the house. What's up, man? Long time no see, man. Missed you. Missed you, Blue Virus. Geo Mag, again, this is, you're right, it's Dak Prescott's fault. Because Dak Prescott, he's gone on and said, yeah, I like Brian Schottenheimer. I think the Cowboys need to lock down Brian Schottenheimer before he gets a chance to say, never mind. I'm going to tell you a quick story here about that lady right there. That lady over there that has been my guiding light and also guiding foot in my ass too. Okay? Seriously. And see, that's what all men need. They need a strong woman that'll let you know sometimes when you fuck it up and you need to go right. And that to have that foot to go in your, you don't like it. You don't like it, but years later you look back and say, she was right. But see, when I met her at JMU, I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, she was so good. Oh my God. And she was like, you crazy Mark. You crazy Mark. No, I'm not getting with crazy Mark. But we became friends, great friends. And over the years, we'd run into each other and things. I was married or she was married, and things like that. But I always had a special place for Tracy. And I lost touch of her for several years. And for some reason, I just decided I'm going to try Match.com, become a little more computer literate because, I got to type a little bit, use the computer and things. And my daughter had a Barbie camera, a 0.3 megapixel Barbie camera. And I took a picture with that Barbie camera, and that's the picture I posted on Match.com. And Match.com matched her up with me. And we got on the phone. She knew. She said, "You look like somebody I knew from college." And all of a sudden, instantly, I knew, oh my God, that's Tracy. It's Tracy. We exchanged phone numbers. We talked till like 3 o'clock in the morning. I went to her job in United Way the next day with some flowers and had lunch with her. And I said to her, I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. And she was like, it's great to see you, my friend Mark. You know when a woman pats you on the shoulder? Friend zone. Friend zone. But I called my friend Alex, my mentor, who passed away last year. Alex. I said, Alex, you'll never forget. You'll never believe what happened and who I ran into. He knew instantly. You talking about that woman, Tracy, that you said it got away, aren't you? I said, yeah, man. I said, I didn't see her. He said, man, lock it down. Lock it down before she has a chance to run away because you're badass kids. Don't wait. Lock it down now. You wait, you're going to lose the opportunity. And damn if that's not the case with the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys, they waited with Mike McCarthy. They looked at it like, oh, no big deal. We know that the Bears want to talk to him. No, we're going to make it hard for him. And he's going to bow down to us because we them boys. Of course he wants to coach the Dallas Cowboys than anybody else. We're in the news. We're the best stadium in the world, although pieces of it are falling out of the ceiling. We're the richest franchise in the world. We have the highest attendance. Of course he wants to be here, so he'll take dog scraps to be here. He will bend to our will. We'll be able to shove a contract underneath of him that'll be dirt cheap. We'll go ahead and say, Jason Witten, you're going to be part of the coaching staff. And we're going to make him do the walk of shame for another year because we're the fucking Dallas Cowboys. I'm Jerry Wayne Jones, damn it. Philly D. Sorry, just came in. Fat finger. Dem Boys Kicks in the house. What's up? Sunday, are you going to do a joint live cam of Philly? Yeah, I think I'll have to do that. It's going to get crazy because there'll be three of us talking. But yeah, I'm going to have to do that. So by being vindictive and saying, you can't talk to the Bears, they made it so they couldn't talk to Ben Johnson. They couldn't talk to Aaron Glenn. They missed out on the opportunity for Mike Vrabel. They fucked around while they were trying to fuck somebody else, and karma came back and fucked them real good. Excuse my language. My apologies. Joseph Heatherly, understand the Dallas Cowboys have pushed me to the brink and pushed me over. I'd rather hear Rio. We are literally the best. Super Bowls are for broke teams. We need Paradise open with warm weather. Okay. Maybe, but still possible till he goes to Dallas. Mark, you going to give us our prediction for the game? Yeah, I will. I'll definitely. I got to finish dealing with all this shit here. Because I've got a lot pent up inside. Because what's crazy is, now, if you were literally trying to create a powder keg for a huge explosion of news, Aisha Robinson in the house. After Jerry Jones, or the Cowboys kind of putting it out there that Brian Schottenheimer is going to be the coach, that he's the man for the job, then it comes out that he's the man for the job because the guy you kind of wanted, Kellen Moore, kind of said, thanks, but no thanks. I'm good. I don't want to be on that SS Cowboys that's headed for the iceberg. I appreciate you calling me, but I don't want this. So the Cowboys scrambled to Brian Schottenheimer. Because they're like, wait a minute, hold up, whoa. But then they had the chance to think about it, and they said, well, wait a minute, Pete Carroll's still out there. Let's call Pete Carroll about the job. Pete Carroll, hey, Jerry, how you doing? Oh, yeah, there's an interest. And then he literally takes the Raider job this morning. And then we find out yesterday, too, that Kellen Moore is doing a second interview with the Saints. Robert Saleh is going back to San Francisco. We find out that Mike Vrabel actually had some interest in coming to the Cowboys. But he didn't want to wait. And Robert Kraft knew the Cowboys were interested, so he didn't waste any time. He jumped on it to get the deal done. And then it was thought that, well, the Cowboys are going to be interested in Eric Glenn. They're just waiting for that stuff to go. But because they screwed over Mike McCarthy, karma was a bitch to him. Because everybody else, while the Cowboys are sitting here, yeah, Mike McCarthy, you're coming to work. You're coming to work every day. You're going to be doing all kinds of stupid shit because we don't want you to interview for the Bears yet. Everybody else had Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson first interviews. You had to wait because you waited. Interesting times we're now in, Mark, wouldn't you say? Yes. And back to this whole thing where I say, Stephen Jones is not that bright. The fact that they go through and they don't do homework to try and figure out who are good people to bring in as a coach. That everybody you talk to has some tie to the Cowboys. Because you're afraid to do some work and some research? Is that what it is? To find out who might be a good candidate? And have to actually do a real interview? You go to Dion. You go to Pete Carroll. You go to Robert Saleh. You go to Kellen Moore. You're about to hire Brad Johnson, who hasn't had an interview with anybody ever before. In-house. And you'll probably hire him because of position flex. Because I know Stephen Jones is going to say, "Well, yeah, you know, I like Brian Schottenheimer here because he's going to be the offensive coordinator and he's going to be the head coach. And since he's just happy to have a freaking job as a head coach, well, we can probably get away paying him about $4.5 million like we did for Mike McCarthy." And the fact of the matter is, with the position flex of him being able to play head coach and as well as being offensive coordinator, that means we don't have to pay an offensive coordinator. That saves us more money. And with that money, well, hell, we can go ahead and we can fill up the gas tank on the boat for the year. We can stock it with some great alcohol. We'll get Jerry to go to 7-Eleven and stock up the boat and everything else just on the savings. And it's not about winning. It's about winning as much cash as we possibly can. And this is where, getting a guy like Brian Schottenheimer, we're trusting the process that he's going to do a great job for us, and he's going to be a lot cheaper than a Deion Sanders because, Deion primetime, he wants those primetime rates, and you're looking at about $18 to $20 million. Hell, it might even be more than that. And we're not going to try and reset the coaching market because I'm cheap. I'm just that cheap. We do not want to do that one, and that's why Brian Schottenheimer is the guy for us. Jerry at the flea market for coaching. You're right. So you're not even going to talk to the hot coordinators. You're not even going to pick up the phone and try and pick their brains any to get some ideas on what to do or find out some of the things that they might do and be able to use that against them. You literally put Mike Zimmer, basically kind of said, Mike, just kick around, just hang around. We're going to figure it out. You might be head coach. You might be defensive coordinator. Just be cool. But he's gone through and basically told, or at least Brian Brodus has gone through and basically said, none of the hirings or potential hirings excite him to the point where he wants to come back. So Mike Zimmer's out. So now you're going to need a new defensive coordinator. And the thing I find, I'm going to sneeze. It's coming. I could feel that one a mile away. I apologize. I should have said gesundheit and then sneeze, but I could feel it coming. You know what the craziest thing to me is? It's Derek Young. That's exactly what I'm touching on. The fact that the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones is considering making Jason Witten the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, who has never coached any position in the NFL. That you actually consider that. Yet, you believe in hiring people you know. Let me ask this. Why wouldn't you consider it, at the bare minimum, Al Harris at least for defensive coordinator? Or even interview him for possibility of a head coach? Are you going to tell me that what he did with the secondary, the way the players respond to him and love him and listen to him, that maybe you couldn't at least toss him a bone and interview him? Holly, he hasn't coached. No, he's been his high school head coach. That's his coaching experience for like 3 years. God bless you. Philly D. What's up, Philly D, man? Long time no see. He's got no NFL experience. And basically, here's the thing with the Cowboys. The Cowboys are so arrogant. I think it's time for Jerry and Steven are a GM to help them. Yeah. And of course, I hope you like the shirt. Dumb and Dumber. That's Jerry and Steven. So Al Harris has taken a job with the Chicago Bears. Our wide receiver coach is interviewing in Miami. Bones Fossil has been hired by the Rams. And we sit here at this moment without a coach. Other teams have hired with the exception of the Raiders. I'm sorry, not the Raiders. The New Orleans Saints. Our front office is getting dumber by the. Thomas, I literally am. I can't even believe how inept they are. Shout out to you, Thomas. I can't even believe that they actually think. I mean, the NFL needs to step in and say, "Oh, whoa. You guys are a joke now. You're a joke." If you were asking the team to say, let's sabotage the season as much as possible, this looks like you were trying to tank for the first pick. I cannot explain how a Dallas Cowboys team with Jimmy Johnson won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, now is literally here, the clown show. Enjoying the show tonight, Jose? I'm glad you're enjoying it, but, I am literally sick to my stomach. The thing and here's what's even worse about it. I don't need to say anything to piss the fan base off. My presence is disturbing in for itself for all of you. I was right at the beginning of the season, and I actually turned out worse. You're welcome. It did turn out worse. It turned out worse because we had injuries. You know, something that's kind of funny to me? You know, I'm Joe the fan. I'm not a former NFL player. I didn't go to ESPN, School of Broadcasting. I'm not an expert on anything. But it's funny when I say some things and then the next day I see it. Because I did a video yesterday and I said, are the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy, either of them better off without each other? Mike McCarthy's unemployed. Cowboys don't have a coach. If they hire Brian Schottenheimer, do you think we're in better shape? Because you also lost Mike Zimmer. Are we in better shape? Oh, Mike Zimmer and Al Harris. Are we in better shape right now? I don't think so. You might, the Joneses, you might want to put hat in hand and give Mike McCarthy a call back because it doesn't seem like anybody wants this job except for Brian Schottenheimer. Why would they say, oh, hold on. Gary. Why would they sell it to Elon? It's a cash cow. They can do anything they want and they still get paid. You know, that's one of those, see, sometimes people will say stuff and it seems like it's, oh man, just that simple. It's kind of like this. You know how when they say, let's just drill for more oil so the price gets cheaper, right? That sounds like a great idea. Yeah. Oil companies, drill for more oil so the price goes down. Right? Because if there's more oil in the marketplace, the price goes down. That's great. Unless you're an oil company. Why? Wait a minute. Whoa. The price is here, and I'm not doing shit. I got my wells. They're pumping out oil, and I'm getting $70 a barrel. So wait a minute. So you're telling me go drill some more holes and set up the infrastructure to make more oil, which means I got to go out there and get more employees, buy more materials and equipment so I can produce more oil that I'll get paid less for? Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Why would I do more work to get paid less? You understand how stupid that sounds? It sounds great concept-wise. Hey, we're just going to produce more oil and the price is going to go down. So you save money. They don't want you to save money. You know, I'm going to change the subject here for a second. Because I had somebody who was looking for a car and things. And what I noticed is every used car dealership with the same type of car, the price was almost exactly identical. I was like, how the fuck is this? Within about $500. And I was talking to one of the car dealers, and they said, well, we have this program. I was like, oh, shit, here we go. What this program is it's an algorithm that does collusion. So this is how come you're getting fucked on prices, on everything. We put in the vehicle that we have, and it spits out the price it should be. Because all of the dealerships are doing. See, this is what happened. My daughter was looking for apartments. They were basically all about the same price, which were high as hell. I'm like, how is it that one over there is only $50 less than the one that's over here? That every single one, usually you'll find a couple that are cheaper here and there. It's like, no. 90% of the real estate in the Washington, D.C., in Arizona, in Atlanta, all the big cities and stuff, they use this algorithm that tells them the prices to put in. They put in all the information on the space, the size, and all that. The algorithm spits out the number it's going to be to keep the price high. What happens is they end up having more vacancies, but their profit margin is so much higher that they're actually better off having the vacancies because they're making, $700, $800 more a month on each unit. That's what happens with airline tickets. So now it doesn't matter if you're going, Pan Am or American or whatever, all the flights, the system, people start looking at, the price goes up. So why would the Joneses turn around when they know that they can put a shit product on the field that they can literally not pay any free agents, literally just basically say, we don't need a freaking coach. We'll just take a guy. We'll take the water boy. He can be the coach on here. And we can still be worth over $10 billion more than any other franchise in the world. It's not like it's the government or a public entity that it has to win. It doesn't. Why would you take a team? Now think about this. From last year to this year was worth $500 million more than the year before without doing anything in the playoffs. Doesn't matter. And as Pat McAfee pointed out, Jerry Jones literally understands we're the soap opera. People are watching. Whether it's good or bad. They can laugh at me and all that. Just talk about me. Andy Reid, all-time great. But Philly D, you know what, Philly D? Here it is. This is how you know how it works. Regina Green. Not yellow, but green. Mike, Robert Saleh's he's the defensive coordinator for San Francisco, Mike. Come on, Mike, where you been? I know it's hard to keep up. You got to have your head on swivel. Robert Saleh has gone to San Francisco to be defensive coordinator. Kellen Moore, second interview with New Orleans. Okay? All right? Pete Carroll took the head coaching job with the Raiders. Mike Vrabel with New England. Ben Johnson with the Bears. Aaron Glenn with the Jets. Everybody Dion, new deal at Colorado. Come on, man. Keep up. You got to keep up, man. This is the Cowboys. They're the news hype. But here's what I'm going to say, Philly D. Pat Mahomes. They have something. Oh, Robert Saleh's back in play with the Cowboys. Oh, Lordy. Here we go. All right, so game time. Every hour on the hour, it's something fucking new. Last hour, it was Al Harris is gone. Okay. Let me look that up. Jeez, oh flip. You know what? I am absolutely, positively getting tired. I am really tired. I love YouTube. Let me be clear here. I love YouTube. But now, game time, are you playing with me? Are you playing with me now that Robert Saleh... Let's see. Let's look it up. Robert Saleh. Lordy. I thought he got hired. Now again, game time, I thought he was going back. It's blogging the boys. Okay, here we go. I thought, because I looked at 5 hours ago. See, this is how crazy this stuff is. So, Niner Nation, 49ers bring back Robert Saleh as defensive coordinator. That's from San Francisco. So that was 10 hours ago. The San Francisco 49ers brought back Robert Saleh to once again be the team's defensive coordinator, according to multiple reports. The news at first reported by Mike Silver of The Atlantic comes amid a bit of a farce surrounding the Jacksonville Jaguars' hunt for a new coach. The Jags had targeted Tampa Bay's offensive coordinator, Lem Cohen, but he was offered a 3-year, $4.5 million deal to remain in the NFC South on Wednesday morning. So, Robert Saleh was supposed to be doing an in-person interview yesterday, but we had heard that he wasn't going to go. Maybe they had informed him that he wasn't going to go. That they had already decided that, don't waste your time. And so let me go through now with blogging the boy. This is crazy. Monique, shout out to Monique S. Monique, that was my understanding that he had already signed the contract. They were offering him the highest defensive coordinator money in the NFL. Now, this is just a rumor, okay? So, understand, there's rumors out there. The Cowboys are always rumored to do a whole lot of shit and do nothing. Reports are that Robert Saleh is a lead candidate for defensive coordinator position. Wait a minute, defensive coordinator? So this was at 7:41 Central. Okay. This is saying defensive coordinator. The Dallas Cowboys interviewed New York Jets head coach Robert Saleh in the search for Mike McCarthy's replacement. He's never gained any more traction than that in Dallas as far as the head coach position went, and is assumed by almost everyone he was headed back to San Francisco to be their defensive coordinator again. That never became official, and now word is the Cowboys are interested in bringing him to Dallas as their defensive coordinator. Robert Saleh is the lead candidate for the D.C. role in Dallas, but the Cowboys have to contend with a team in Santa Clara for his services. He and the 49ers are having a pre-existing relationship as well. We all know Patrick Walker is a very plugged in the happenings of the star, so this isn't just another crazy rumor and must be some fire behind the smoke, but it feels difficult to believe that Saleh would turn down the 49ers' return to take on a somewhat messy situation involving the Cowboys coaching. We're not privy to what's going on behind closed doors, so maybe Jerry Jones and company are doing the right thing to tempt him, securing the services of a defensive coordinator as qualified as Saleh. Okay, so Lola should be hired as head coach. So, shout out to Lola, Miss Hot Sauce. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay? But everybody who's now on the train to say, Robert Saleh, he should be the head coach. How did he do as head coach with the Jets? I mean, seriously. How did he do as a head coach for the Jets? Great defensive coordinator. The defense was good. He had one of the historically greatest quarterbacks in football. They went out. They got people in free agency. They got Devontae Adams and stuff. They had players. They had high draft picks. But it's the Jets. Oh, but guess what? But it's the Cowboys. Breaking news. DC Mark not head coach. Oh, I get it. Okay. So, but somebody had said back in play. I think Game Time came in and said Robert Saleh's back in play. But what's funny is, I go back to what I said before. It's funny because sometimes I say stuff and I'll put it in a video and it just gets blown over. Because when the Cowboys was first announced that the Cowboys were interviewing him on the video, and you can go check. By all means, please go check. I said, Cowboys interviewing Robert Saleh. And on it, I questioned, for head coach or DC? Or DC? Hey, listen, I got the receipts. I also said yesterday about Mike McCarthy. The Cowboys and Mike McCarthy Are they both better off without each other? That they might want to keep them on speed dial. They might want to call him back. Mike Fisher ended his saying, do they have Mike McCarthy's phone number? Oh, and somebody else, I don't know if it was Calvin Watkins or somebody else tweeted that out, that they might want to call Mike McCarthy. And it's like, I said that shit yesterday. Cowboys are cooked. Right now, the Cowboys are just grasping at shit. Just grasping at shit. Now, I'm going to say, if you're Robert Saleh, do you want to go to the Dallas Cowboys that's going to literally tell you to do more with less? That we don't believe in free agency? Or go back to a San Francisco 49er team that was just in the Super Bowl a year ago? That literally went out and they signed guys like Hargrave. On the offense, they went out and got Christian McCaffrey and stuff. That they take care of their players. That they're actually a winning organization. Do you honestly look at these two jobs? I can be the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, and they're cheap. They're cheap. They're not going to pay me, great money to be the defensive coordinator. Maybe I can become the head coach because, they're hiring Brian Schottenheimer. But I'm going to have to be under Brian Schottenheimer? I mean, I could be underneath Kyle Shanahan. He's been to the Super Bowl. I've been a head coach. This guy has only been an offensive coordinator a couple of times. And he's going to be my boss? And then I got Jerry Jones. Or I can go to San Francisco where I'm going to be the highest paid defensive coordinator in the NFL. And I got some players. More than just a Micah Parsons. I got some linebackers. I got defensive linemen. I got cornerback. And I got, yeah. Why would you say, hey, I want to go to the Dallas Cowboys? I'm not trying to be funny. Read the chat. Mark will be saying the team will be the best team. Brian Schottenheimer has been hired. Oh, okay. Breaking news here. Look, shit has to happen. Well, but here, now let me ask you this, okay? Congratulations, Brian Schottenheimer, getting hired here right now. Alan Williams, breaking news. It's being announced on Twitter that Dallas is hiring Schottenheimer as the new head coach. We've been saying that for 2 days. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that bothers the hell out of me. The Cowboys have already undermined him. They've undermined him. Let's say, okay, Lola, Miss Hot Sauce. Okay, forget that I'm married, forget you're married. We're both two single people. And we start dating each other, right? We're dating. Hey, we a couple, right? And then I'm texting somebody else and say, hey, how you doing? You interested in, coaching for Cowboys? Just checking it out. Just checking it out. Yeah. What you think? No? You're good? Okay, that's cool. And then you turn around, hey, Lola, what's up? And you know that I was texting Sally about being a girlfriend. The fuck? I thought we were... Why are you talking to Pete Carroll now? Rich, what's his name? The special team guy. Why are you talking to him? Why are you all of a sudden going around? Wait a minute. We've been talking for 2 days here about me being the head coach. Why are you out here talking to another woman? What the? You would literally put a foot in my ass, wouldn't you? You'd say, wait a minute. I'm just a placeholder. I'm just Miss Right for right now. And then you're going to go ahead. We know what's coming. We know what's coming. Jason Witten is going to be inserted in here, so you already know that I'm only keeping the seat warm until they decide that Jason Witten, or should I say Jason Garrett, it's funny, Jason takes over and Jason's going to take over. I'm just here temporarily. I am the sacrificial lamb here to do that. So congratulations, Brian Schottenheimer. Way to go. You are now the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And let me change that on the title. I think the Cowboys. Okay, changed it. I think the Cowboys realized we better. What did I say? Y'all that have been here, thanks for all the super chats. I'm sorry, I'll get them added and we'll draw stuff on here. Damn, we almost had Kellen out of Philly. Well, here's what I'll say. I said when we first heard about Brian Schottenheimer, here's the positives about having Brian Schottenheimer. He already knows the madness that is the Dallas Cowboys. The Joneses aren't going to change for anybody. The Joneses are not going to change what they're doing. Jerry Jones is still going to be the same guy in charge, and Stephen Jones is going to be the fucking idiot who does not know how to manage the cap. He doesn't know how to manage the cap, and that's why he's always sure made. Shout out to everybody. What we know is he at least understands the situation that he's in, the dysfunction. That's the first thing, okay? And the Joneses are going to feel comfortable because they know they're not going to have to worry about having press time, okay? He's going to be okay being in the shadows. The second thing I will say is the fact that he knows Dak Prescott, that we're not starting completely over with that situation. Whether you like Dak or don't like Dak, it doesn't matter because you got Dak. You got him. And so at least Brian Schottenheimer understands that. The third thing I will say is that Brian Schottenheimer getting a chance to be the head coach, he has an opportunity to go ahead and now create the offense that he wants to have. And I can equate this situation with the best case scenario is he could be Sean McVay and we don't know it. We don't know it. Because Sean McVay was a position coach for a couple of years and things and all that. Started out, I think, working as a ball boy for John Gruden, right? His experience was 2 or 3 years with the Commanders as their offensive coordinator under Jay Gruden. You don't look at Jay Gruden and say, oh, this guy is a mentor for coaches, and being on a RG3 exiting out of the NFL to Cleveland and Kirk Cousins as great, yes, JD Sports, as a great learning opportunity to make a head coach. The Commanders was the last job that Sean McVay had before he got hired as a coach. You don't know. He came from dysfunction to become one of the brightest minds. I said that's the best case scenario. That maybe now he gets the opportunity to do this. And the other thing I can say is this, is maybe, just maybe, the Joneses will look at this and say, well, let's make him succeed. So that way we can tell everybody we know what we're doing. And they actually go through and use the triggers and get the salary cap done, that they go ahead and get Micah Parsons signed, and that they actually are players to bring in enough players to make the team competitive. That's my hope. Well, here's the thing. Slightly homeless, he had a good offense in Washington. Well, guess what? When he was offensive coordinator for 1 year with the Seattle Seahawks under Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson had 4,200 yards, 40 TDs, and 13 interceptions. And they also had 1,900 yards on the ground. That's balance, and that's pretty damn good. 40 TDs, 13 interceptions, 1,900 yards on the ground. Balanced offense. Really balanced offense. Now, I don't know what we have. It doesn't matter at this point. We got what we got. We got what we got. And that ain't going to change. It's not going to change. So there you have it. Welcome to the Dallas Cowboys and the dysfunction that is the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Cowboys realized, here's the bottom line. Bottom line is you're playing musical chairs and the seats, there weren't many seats left. At this point, Steve Sarkisian, new contract. Dion, who's in town this week, new deal. The Detroit boys, hired. Vrabel, hired. Are you going to go through, hey, let's go get Rex Ryan. You going to get Rex Ryan? Draft Austin Gentry. Michael Diggs, you know this because you can foretell the future. Shit hire. We need a culture change. Press conference Monday at 11 Central Time. Folks just need to get over the... Oh, take Cowboys. What's up? Oh, yes, it's ladies' night. Oh, what a night. Okay. What a night. Bottom line here, people. Don't act like you don't know what the Dallas Cowboys are about. Don't act like you don't know what Jerry and Stephen Jones are about. They're about getting their money, and they don't give a rat's ass about your feelings. They don't. They got more money than all of us combined. And it doesn't matter what they do or don't do. They're still going to keep making money. So you got two choices. Understand that it's not about winning, or find a team that is. That's the bottom line. And sitting here bitching about it, guess what? This shit ain't going to change. It's 35 freaking years, Darth Vader. Get it, Jerry. We love you, Jerry in Philly. It's not going to change. So either get on with the program and understand we're the drama, we're the soap opera, we're the WWE, or find another team. That's the bottom line. All I know is this day has been crazy. It's been crazy. And to know that come Sunday, either the Commanders, who have a coach that was here in our building that literally half of you people said, get that bum out of here. He sucks. He sucks. He's the reason why we're not winning shit. Dan Quinn is a freaking idiot. He's a loser. And y'all had me convinced that he's a bad coach when I knew that guy was the real deal. I knew he was the real deal. Y'all chased him out of here. He literally told you, tomorrow isn't promised. It's not promised. You got to do your shit today. And guess what? Everything the Dallas Cowboys have done in the last year have proved they're not worried about doing things in a timely fashion. CeeDee Lamb's contract, Dak's contract, firing Mike McCarthy or letting Mike McCarthy go or not getting the contract, hiring a new coach. They wait and they end up getting the bottom of the barrel. They don't have many options. You still going to be saying we them boys and buying merch, stop crying? I didn't actually buy too much merch from the Cowboys this year. I really didn't. I mean, I did go to training camp. But even at training camp, I bought, I tell you, one of the few things I bought at training camp was this, in which case I got Dak's autograph on here and some of the other players and stuff. But no, I didn't buy a jersey this year. I didn't buy much of anything. I did go to, like I said, I went to training camp and I went to the preseason game at the Rams, and it was a real fan won. I said that. Did I buy a hat? I don't think. Did I buy a hat? I didn't buy I did go to the Cowboy. I went to the Cowboys Eagle game, and I bought my ticket on resale, but I didn't buy any gear. I didn't buy. Oh no. I'm a liar. Sorry, I lied. I did buy this in Dallas. I did buy that in Dallas. I did. I forgot. I bought the chicken in Dallas, and probably the best thing that I've ever bought from the Cowboys, the whining chicken. I told my Cowboys, no more Cowboys gear for me. I'm depressed. There he goes. Thanks a lot, Jerry Jones. Let's get a little reminder from Pat McAfee here.
America's team crumbling at the seams. We're talking about the ceiling falling apart. Last night they wanted to open the roof for the first time in a long time. Our team stinks, but at least we'll showcase the stadium. And then a piece of sheet metal comes flying down, and you see old buddy go, whoa. What was that? Well, it was actually metal from the roof, pal. Yeah, Jerry World obviously at one time was the cock of the walk. And speaking of cock of the walk, this is a man who had to go up there and actually drill another piece of sheet metal into some more railings up there because they couldn't get it out completely. And they didn't know if one gust of wind somehow comes through Jerry World, another piece of sheet metal comes all the way down. So the roof sucks, the team sucks. And the floor sucks.
Yep.
Brendan Aubrey has his first miss at home last night. He's obviously slips all over the place. Oh, no. You think to yourself, well, how'd you slip? This guy's been 34 for 34 in Jerry World as the Dallas Cowboys kicker. Well, you got to remember, Paul Tyson had that thing up. They just put it down.
Right.
So the turf stinks, the roof stinks, the team stinks, everything about it stinks, and the Houston Texans took advantage of that.
Everything stinks, okay? That's where we are right now. Everything stinks. Everything stinks. But I guess at least the Cowboys making this hire right now, I guess at least I don't have to make another video. At least it happened right here. Last place in the division this season coming. You know what's funny is I had to go to the plumbing supply place. Haven't been there in a while. And one of the guys that works there, he's a Washington fan. And there's another guy there who's a diehard Giant fan. In fact, he was wearing a Giants shirt, and I was wearing my SS Cowboys shirt here because we're headed for the iceberg, right? And we just looked at each other. We just shook our head. It's like, I know, brother. I know. It's you and me fighting it out for the basement for next year. That's all we got, man. That's all we got. So, Jerry's going to live to be 130. Mark hated Dan. No, actually, when we got Dan, I actually wanted Dan Quinn to be our head coach. But like I said, they got me. No, I did not. No, I was kind of like, I think you're going to rule the day. No. If you can find it on tape someplace where I said, I'm happy that Dan Quinn's gone, I don't think, because I think I was the one that said Dan Quinn didn't have everything he needed to try and get his defense together. He didn't have a defensive line. And I said, he did this shit with smoke and mirrors. You literally didn't have a linebacker going against Green Bay last year. Well, at least he doesn't have. I missed quite a few super chats. Let me say viewer activity. Let's see if we got them. We got JD Sports Talk. Shout out to JD. Mark Jerry's quote, he's all about fame. Let me see Jerry's quote. Let's see if we can find it. Okay. Let's see. Let's read this here. Let's change the screen. Cowboys hire Brian Schottenheimer as head coach. Jerry Jones promotes Dallas coordinator to top job. Here's why Schottenheimer made sense for Jones. And I think I gave you my points, and let's see if they agree with me. Dallas Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones, as unpredictable as he can be at times, made a move to choose familiarity with the team's newest head coaching hire. Dallas has promoted Cowboys offense coordinator Brian Schottenheimer to the franchise's 10th head coach and the 9th under Jones' ownership since it began in '89. The team announced Friday night. Brian Schottenheimer is known as a career assistant, Jones said via ESPN. He ain't Brian no more. He is now known as the he ain't Brian no more. He's now the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Jones highly values comfort, so Schottenheimer fits the criteria after being with the team since 2022. He has worked as a consultant that season before becoming Dallas offense coordinator in 23, when Kellen Moore, who served as that position between 2019 and 22, took the same role for the Los Angeles Chargers that offseason. Mike McCarthy and the team's head coach for each of the last 5 years brought Schottenheimer in to consult following the 2021 season, in which he was the quarterback's coach and passing game coordinator for the first overall pick, Trevor Lawrence, and Urban Meyer's Jacksonville Jaguar staff. The Jags were the NFL's worst scoring offense that year, averaging 14.9 points per game. McCarthy began his coaching career with Kansas City Chiefs. Now, here's where I'm going to say, yes, that's true, but Urban Meyer was a complete disaster with that team, and it wasn't like that was a good team. Trevor Lawrence was butt awful. But the year before that, when he was offensive coordinator with the Seattle Seahawks, with a decent team, and Russell Wilson, 40 TDs and 13 interceptions for Russell Wilson, and they rushed for 1,900 yards. If we can do that with the Cowboys offense, we're in great shape. You got Dak Prescott who can sling the rock, but they're still going to need to get some other pieces here to go along with it. Let's see. Who else has got it? That's CBS Sports. Chase Daniels, bless Jerry Jones. Okay. It's crazy because this is how fast shit keeps happening for the Cowboys. Because 9 hours ago, we talked about Cowboys set to lose critical piece of coaching staff, which was Al Harris, I think. Or was that the wide receiver coach? 15 hours ago, reaches out to Pete Carroll. 22 hours ago, report safe pick for the Cowboys head coach since fans in uproar. 16 minutes ago, boom, he's hired. Brian Schottenheimer isn't Jones's idea. So we have been told, yeah, that was the other dynamic that we had, that this was the Stephen Jones pick because, we like Brian Schottenheimer a lot because, Brian, he gives us position flex. He's going to end up taking 2 positions here in the organization. He's going to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He's no longer Brian. He's now head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. But also, too, because we like this, he's going to be the play caller, the offensive coordinator, which means we don't have to pay somebody that position. And you know how much I really and truly like that. If we had gotten Deion Sanders here, the first time I didn't get my way with Deion because I didn't want his ass here. He was too much damn money, and I know had we brought in Deion Sanders, he would end up holding that shit against me, and he'd probably throw me up against the wall the way I threw my daddy against the wall. And he probably would have won about $20 million. So the way I look at it is we saved ourselves probably about $15 million by going with Brian Schottenheimer. And he'll be a great marionette puppet for us. We can go ahead and we can pull the strings and we can call the plays and he'll get all the blame for it. So I'm just loving this. Yeah, this is great. Great. We want you to understand that, player acquisition and coaching acquisition is a 365-day-a-year job. And, we're not resting at all because mainly we're partying on Jerry's boat. we're partying on the boat, but that's neither here nor there. Shh, don't tell my wife about that. But seriously though, you got to trust the process, and we believe the things that we're doing to build a team and an organization, it's so much better than what the Philadelphia Eagles are doing, because at some point those bills are going to come due for the Eagles, and you know what? They're going to have to get rid of some players. They're going to have to do a lot of hard work on the salary cap. crap to maneuver it, and then they'll go ahead and reload, and they'll still be good. But you know what? We won't be in cap hell. Well, actually, we are in cap hell. But we won't have to blow our shit up. We can just stay the mediocre team we are. We can still be America's team. We can still be in prime time because, see, people like watching a train crash. You know, when there's a train crash over there, you know, everybody's rubbernecking and watching. Well, hell, that's exactly what we are with the Cowboys. So I appreciate everybody being here, and best of luck to everybody. Why would they do this, David? It's cheap. It's easy. We ain't got to do a whole lot of work. And they give no Fs about your feelings, man. They give no Fs. None. Zero. Zilch. Zingo. Dallas Cowboys, they don't care. Jerry needs to go hang out with Joe Biden. Ski Mask Howie, a genius, not us. Hail to the Commanders. So on a weekend, here's where it's crazy. So on a weekend that you got the Commanders and the Eagles, two teams from the NFC, that the last time you had two teams from the NFC playing for the NFC Championship was 1981. And you, now having been the only team from the NFC this century not to make it to an NFC Championship game, you go through and you hire a guy with the most dysfunctional hiring process ever, where literally it's kind of like, I have to say, this is like when you got Dak Prescott. I hope it turns out like it did with Dak Prescott, but think about it. The Cowboys, they didn't want Dak Prescott. The Cowboys were first looking at Carson Wentz, but he was the second pick. So they took Zeke. Then they wanted Paxton Lynch. They tried to trade to get the pick to get Paxton Lynch in the first round. Paxton Lynch. They wanted more than what they wanted to give up. I guess at least Matt Eberflus might be y'all's D quarterback. Well, that's possible. They need to go ahead and try and get some positions filled sooner than later. But then they try to get Connor Cook. And they kind of kept going around. Well, you know, we need a camp body. We need a fourth wide receiver. So there's this kid named Dak Prescott that Will McClay keeps saying is pretty good. So we'll go ahead and get him. We'll put him. He'll be the fourth string quarterback behind Jameel Showers and stuff. And after camp, we'll just let him go because we won't need him. But you know, we'll get him here in the fourth round, and it's no big deal because in the future we're going to trade for Trey Lance with the fourth round pick, and so it's, you know, fourth round pick for a quarterback. You know, that's no big deal. So they didn't really want Dak Prescott. It kind of fell in their lap. And you can see they called Dion. No. You talked to Robert Saleh. You talked to Leslie Frazier, all that was Rooney Rule. You talked to Kellen Moore, who kind of said, no, I'm good. You've gone around, so it's kind of like, well, Brian, yeah, there ain't nobody else here. How about you take the job? Romo fell into the... Right. Romo, another one. Well, that was actually Sean Payton. Sean Payton was the one that brought Tony Romo in there. He wanted to take him to New Orleans. Bring Mike back as D coordinator. Mike Zimmer basically was like, boom. Well, damn, Wilson, Santiago, you listened to me, and you won $7,000. Well, how about spreading a little bit? Hey, can I hold something? You won $7,000. Can I hold 10? Dak had a golden opportunity in 22 to meet Philly in the championship game and choked. Okay, maybe if he had a running game like Jalen Hurts had, maybe he would have done a little better. Hey, Mark, will you be willing to admit that to eat crow if this ends with a winning record and playoff berth? No, well, hold on, Freddie. Wait. Freddie, you know what? Screw you, Freddie. Because I'm one of the few out there that have actually said that he has a better coaching record than people will let on. I'm the one who's been talking about in 2021 when he was the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. Because see, what the talking heads do is they tell you about that shit show in Jacksonville like that shit was his fault when Urban Meyer should not have been a head coach in the NFL. I'm the one that's gone through and said Brian Schottenheimer, his daddy was Mr. King of running the football with Barry Word and Christian Okoye and running down your throat, which to me says he'll understand why you want to run the football and why it's important to help out the quarterback. I was the one that said he worked under Pete Carroll in that organization, that from a standpoint of coming to the Cowboys, that he actually will start in a better position than anybody else coming from the outside. Because he knows Dak Prescott. He's got a basis of an offense that he's going to run. He'll probably take out a lot of shit that he didn't like from Mike McCarthy's and add some new things, but the terminology won't change. He knows how to deal with the Joneses. If you hire Robert Saleh as your head coach, he's got to learn the freaking Joneses. He's got to find an offensive coordinator, and that offensive coordinator is going to have to come in and change shit around. I'm actually the one to say, I'm going to give benefit of the doubt. So what are you trying to say? I'm going to eat crow. I actually said that this might not be the worst thing in the world. Bachman Overdrive, shout out to you. I said, we'll see what we're going to see. I'm the one who said, best case scenario, he's Sean McVay. Because Sean McVay came from a losing organization with the Commanders under Jay Gruden. I'm not killing the guy for being hired. What I'm talking about is how stupid the Dallas Cowboys look with this situation. The fact that, hey, you had a year. You had a freaking year. You didn't give the man an extension, and you were literally asked the day after, after you lost the last game, what if he wants to go ahead and go for a job? He can go interview. And then you proceeded to be petty as shit. Petty for no other reason of, we wrote a contract and he's going to fulfill every single day of it. And that shit screwed you with the possibility of getting some higher profile people. Now, there's a lot of times a guy gets hired that people look at and say, oh man, why are you hiring that guy? That guy's got no experience. Because nobody's got experience until they do. And then there's times when people are like, oh my God, they hired a freaking genius. You remember when they hired Mike McDaniels in Miami? Oh my God, he's one of the brightest minds in football. I don't know how that jackass still has a job. They literally got him the biggest weapon in football. They go out and get a great cornerback. They sign people left and right, and he still hasn't done anything more than what Brian, what's his name, did before him. Didn't. Robert Saleh was one of the hottest picks out there, defensive coordinator, goes to the Jets, and it's like, meh. So it doesn't necessarily mean that because you are a hot coordinator, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn both fail. They're going to organizations that haven't won shit. Janet Rogers, Miss Jackson. You never know. You never know. And maybe, just maybe, the Cowboys say, well, you know what? We're going to go ahead and we want this guy to succeed. And they go out and they do a little bit more. The fact that you got Dak Prescott coming back healthy is going to make you a viable team right there. A viable team. You got CeeDee Lamb. Offensive line will be better than it was last year just because of experience. You do have the draft. And maybe, just maybe, they do something in free agency. I know I'm trying to sugarcoat it and try and be happy just to be happy, but, try and look forward and be happy, but it's the Dallas Cowboys, man. I don't know what else to tell you, man. You talking about, King Law? Then get the fuck out then. Nothing. You know what? Some of you motherfuckers, and I'm calling you motherfuckers. That's right. You talking about nothing. You shut up. Man, listen, if you don't like what I'm serving here at this restaurant, you don't have to come in and buy what I'm serving. Take your monkey ass out. Take your motherfucking ass out. Shit. You don't have something good to say? Don't say shit. Hey, Mark, even recently a handful of greats wanted to be Cowboys. They just never got the call. Oh, my God. That's a whole nother thing. Shout out to you for the super chat there. Thank you, Jerry Jones clip. Have a great one. And that's part of the problem. I don't think that Mike McCarthy was necessarily that bad of a coach. You may disagree with me, but when you look at, and y'all can go, just like dude said, Philly did. Well, if Dak hadn't choked in the, we would have met in the NFC Championship game. Bro, do you see what your quarterback had to do to win their game this week? Seriously. You got Saquon Barkley that ran for 190 yards, bro. 190 yards. How much passing did he do? How much passing did your quarterback have to do? You had the best offensive line in football. You had a lights-out defense. That's why you're in the NFC Championship game. When can you actually say we've had any of that? Because I got to say, the last few years of being in the playoffs, my Dallas Cowboys can't rush for over 60 fucking yards. 60 fucking yards. And when you can't rush for more than 60 fucking yards, you're one-dimensional. And if you're one-dimensional in the playoffs with one fucking receiver, you're going to lose. They're going to be after your ass, and they're going to be covering your number one guy. That shit's not equal, bro. It's not equal. Mark Holmes would be a better head coach. Hey, Tony. Tony Boo. What's up, Tony Boo? Game Time's in the house. Game Time, I'm sure you done posted it too, man. Shit's getting crazy. And, I was just like, good. I can do my live stream, be done at 10 o'clock. I can go climb in the bed. I still haven't seen Yellowstone. Landman episode from last week. I was like, honey, let's watch watch that tonight. Damn. Long live Jerry. Oh, man, you trolls, man. Y'all dropping the dimes. He's a little hubby. Casey, he's a little hubby. What's up, Game Time Brian? Be careful, Mark. He's really in his feelings. Definition of karma. McCarthy threw Moore under the bus. He's probably going to get the Super Bowl, and Mike is on the sidewalk. Even Kellen Moore would have been more inspired. I think Kellen Moore actually said thanks, but no thanks. Jerry doesn't love us. He loves the money. I got a 10:30 premiere. All right. Tell me it's not shot. It is Schottenheimer. How long have I been a Cowboys fan? Basically since birth. Now, understand here. How many of y'all are married? How many of y'all are married? That woman in there, I love her to death. I love her. I love you, Miss Tracy. But I can honestly say, I don't love everything about her. There are some things that I fucking hate. I fucking hate it. I love her, but there's some things I don't love. Okay? And that's what I can say about the Dallas Cowboys. I love the star on the helmet. I love my players. I love the history up here. When I look up here and I see this limited edition series truck that's autographed by Bob Lilly and the Manster. When I look up there and I see Drew Pearson autographed. Or even, look at this. Look at this. Would you believe I found this in an antique store? It was autographed. I got it $15. Drew Pearson signed that. What's funny is it's not an NFL licensed hat. I don't even, this is just like some knockoff hat. But it's the Cowboys greats. You understand? When I look up there and I see Dak Prescott's autograph or Micah Parsons, I love those things. Don't love Jerry. Don't love Steven. Not at all. Don't do it, Mark. This could be your last. Don't do what? Don't do what, man? What, the Cowboys are going to cut me? Eberflus has been hired. Oh, man. Okay, so they're rolling now. All right, so we got a head coach, and we've got Matt Eberflus. Well, he's got head coaching experience with the Colts. Didn't he? Wasn't Matt Eberflus, wasn't he a head coach with, let's see. Oh, no, it was the Bears, wasn't it? He was linebacker coach for the Cleveland Browns, worked under Eric Mangenius, and defensive coordinator Rob Ryan for 2 seasons. In his first season, Eberflus transitioned David Bowens from outside linebacker. Okay. Dallas Cowboys. He followed Rob Ryan to Dallas Cowboys junior staff. Figures with the Cowboys. I was number 21, and we had him at top 3, so I'll be rooting for him on the Go Cowboys. Momo, we love you, Mark. Thank you, love you too. Eberflus followed Rob Ryan to the Cowboys, joined the staff of Jason Garrett as linebacker coach. The linebacker group was spearheaded by all-time All-Pro DeMarcus Ware. Okay, let's see. Worked under Monty Kiffin. I thought he had been a head coach for a minute, but I guess he didn't. All right, so Matt Eberflus is our defensive coordinator. So much for the rumor of Robert Saleh in play. Don't worry, Cowboy fans, it gets better. Darth Vader, Eagle fan, I thought Saleh would have done a good job with y'all. I know Kellen would have been better than Brian, but I don't like Kellen either. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna give benefit of the doubt, man. I'm going to give benefit of the doubt. We don't know. He might not be as bad as you think. You never know. He might be given the opportunity and might end up being a great coach. Sometimes great coordinators don't make great head coaches, and sometimes vice versa. So I'm going to take the wait-and-see approach and see what happens. That's all we can do. And I will say this much. I'm glad that they finally... let me go back to my high school roots. One of my high school coaches, I remember, said, if you're going to F up at full speed. There's nothing worse than making a mistake than taking too much time to do it. So at least they have the opportunity to go ahead and start building a staff. The East-West Shrine game is in a couple of days. Next weekend is the Senior Bowl. You've got the Combine coming up. We need to start getting people in place to try and build this team. Freddie, I do actually have some back at my house. Okay, right. He was head coach for the Bears, but, at least he's got head coaching experience. Sure, Made, thank you. I guess D-Ware and Jay Witt are en route. Could be. Eberflus is defensive coordinator. Only Jerry and Stephen Jones would hire a head coach who has not had head coach, and they've all had to do walk down the hall. Yeah, this is Jerry and Stephen Jones. And they're going to be, you know what? They're going to be patting each other on the back on the press conference on Monday. Yeah, you know, we did our, we did our due diligence here because, see, we've been watching Brian Schottenheimer here for the last 2 years, and the way he interacts with Dak Prescott, you know, it's so different than what we used to get with Kellen Moore. You know, Kellen Moore would get there with the tablet and things, and he'd look completely lost, and then he'd just throw the shit on the ground. And sometimes we wondered, with the trick plays that Kellen Moore would do that seemed like it only tricked us, you know, we didn't get as many of those trick plays with Brian Schottenheimer, you know, and Mike McCarthy. And you know, Mike McCarthy was here, but he really wasn't here because he was always dealing with off the field issues, like, you know, things that were beyond his control, like not having a contract and literally being our bitch. And so we understood that really it was Brian Schottenheimer who was taking, you know, all the real work and all the real reps from Mike McCarthy so he could deal with the other bullshit that we were giving him. And we really feel good about this. And it definitely saves us some money and definitely keeps consistency. And it definitely keeps Dion from being here and slamming my ass against the wall because, you know, he's still holding a grudge because I didn't want him here. I will admit that. I told my daddy, we can't afford him. I'm Dad, you paid for my college education. You literally bought it. You got my degree for me, and you gave me a job as capologist. And the first thing I told you was, you know, I don't see how we can make Dion work. That's too much money. And you didn't want to listen, so I just threw you up on the wall. And I realized that you had that daddy strength, and you're about to put a foot in my ass and fire me, and then I'd never have a job again because, you know, I'm really not that bright. But you know, we them boys. All right, good people. Game Time Brian's got a video premiering right now, and I know everybody and their sisters got stuff going on. Before joining Fox, Aikman wanted to be a GM as Elway was. I don't think Everfuss will be awful either. Redskins versus Eagles, 3 o'clock. How good was he as a defensive coach? He was a pretty good one. I don't think it was the worst one in the world, but is this an incentive hired coach? An incentive hire coach? I don't understand what you mean by incentive hire. I think this was a desperation hire coach. That the Cowboys, that every day that this went on, it just looked worse and worse because you would hear things every day. Like today, you hear Mike Vrabel wanted to go here, but you waited too long. Oh, Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, you couldn't talk to them because you waited because of Mike McCarthy. Kellen Moore, you know, said no thanks. So it's like every day we're taking another body blow. So let's get this thing over with so we can move on and let them talk about Brian Schottenheimer instead of our process. North of the border, I'm going to be with you on that and hope that you're right, that we'll have a better season with Shotty. At least, you know, maybe one thing we want to be listening to all season long is the fact that the coaching staff isn't on a one-year deal. At least we won't have that. We won't be hearing about Dak Prescott having to get a contract or CeeDee Lamb. I hope they go ahead and just get Micah Parsons done so we don't have those distractions. And just from, you may be right, just from the simple fact that we don't have all of those distractions. So, good people, I'm going to end with this tonight, Pat McAfee, and I'm going to let everybody else in the YouTube sphere get a piece of this shit.
This is not us making this up. This is actual reporting of Jerry Jones talking about being a general manager. I've done it all, okay? So I have an inordinate amount of confidence that, if anybody can figure out how to get this shit done, I can figure out how to get it done, John said. I've been there every which way from Sunday. And have I busted my ass a bunch? A bunch. and there's nobody living that out cutting and out shooting that can give you a bunch of times they busted their ass. So hell no. There's nobody that could fucking come in here and do all the contracts and be a GM any better than I can. Now, Jerry, congrats on talking your shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Think about the decades of the people and fans saying Jerry needs to get his hands out of the team's business. Ever since Jerry has started running things, we haven't been good. He got rid of Jimmy, and then nobody's able to check Jerry. And Jerry's just got his little fingers and everything. He's making decisions. He's drafting from the yacht. He's cutting people. He's negotiating deals. He's calling plays sometimes. Shit, he will get out there and throw the ball himself if he wants to. That is what people say. That's why the Cowboys haven't been good. So if this is a new interview or if this is Clarence Hill Jr. writing about something that happened back in the day, it's like, shout out to Jerry Jones just finally telling everybody, hey, eat shit. Just want to let you know that. AJ.